The Pennsylvania Railroad GG1 is a class of electric locomotives built for the Pennsylvania Railroad in the northeastern United States. It is known for its striking Art Deco shell, its ability to pull trains at up to 100 miles per hour, and its long career of almost 50 years. Between the 1930s and 1950s, General Electric and Pennsylvania Railroad's Altoona Works built close to 140 GG1s. The GG1 engine entered service with the Pennsylvania Railroad in 1935 and later ran on other railroads, Penn Central, Conrail, and Amtrak. The last GG1 was retired by New Jersey Transit in 1983. The GG1 was about 80 feet long and weighed 475,000 pounds. The frame of the locomotives was in two halves joined with a ball joint, allowing the locomotive to handle sharp curves. The control cabs were near the center of the locomotive on each side of the main oil-cooled transformer and oil-fired train heating boiler. This provided for greater safety for the crew in case of a collision, and provided for bi-directional operation of the locomotive. Each frame is a 460 locomotive. The maximum speed of the engine is 100 miles per hour in passenger service and 90 miles per hour in freight service. A pantograph on each end of the locomotive body was used to collect the 11,000 volts, 25 hertz alternating current from the overhead wires. A transformer between the two cabs stepped down the 11,000 volts to the voltages needed for the traction motors and other equipment. 12 385 horsepower traction motors drove the GG1's 57-inch diameter driving wheels on 6 axles. In the 1930s, railroad passenger cars were heated with steam from the locomotive. The GG1 had an oil-fired steam generator to feed the train's steam line. In 1933, the Pennsylvania Railroad decided to replace its P5A locomotives. It asked General Electric and Westinghouse to design prototype locomotives with a lighter axle load and more power than the P5A. They wanted the engines to have a top speed of at least 100 miles per hour, a streamlined body design, and a single central control cab. On November 10, 1934, the Pennsylvania Railroad ordered 57 locomotives, 14 by General Electric in Erie, 18 by Pennsylvania Railroad's Altoona Works, and 20 more in Altoona with electrical components from Westinghouse. In 1945, a Pennsylvania GG1 hauled a funeral train of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt from Washington Union Station to New York, Pennsylvania Station. On June 8, 1968, two Penn Central GG1s hauled Robert F. Kennedy's funeral train from New York Penn Station to Washington, D.C. In the mid-1950s, with declining demand for passenger train service, GG1s were re-geared for a maximum speed of 90 miles per hour and placed in freight service.